My partner, the chair of the Assembly Education Committee, Chair Benedetto, I will let him introduce his members as well. With us here from the Senate include Senator John Liu, Senator John Mannion, who is an alternate, Senator Toby Ann Stavisky, Senator Sean Ryan, I do not see yet, but I anticipate he will be here. Senator James Tedisco, the ranking member of the Senate Education Committee, and Senator Daphne Jordan, when she joins us, who is the alternate for the minority. We look forward to a very productive session about the differences between the Senate and the Assembly one House budgets. For those of you who are watching, that is our responses to the governor's proposed budget. I just like to commend the members because this year, between the Senate and Assembly, we are far more in sync. And I think we are moving down the path with our continued commitment to full funding of foundation aid. I'll speak about that in a minute. But I think we are off to a very positive start on education again this year. Very proud of the leadership of both of our chambers and the help of Governor Hochul. So with that, I will turn it over to my partner, Chair Benedetto.
Senator Mayer, thank you very much for your comments here. And you have rightly stated how we are pretty close in our proposals, both in the Senate and the Assembly, and that should make for some good negotiation, but hopefully not much negotiation. We should come up with a fairly quick resolution here. But then again, I am an optimist. I am happy to be here at the Joint Conference Committee meeting. And I'm happy to be joined by besides my co-chair, Senator Mayer, I'm joined today by members of the Assembly majority and minority who will serve on this committee. On the majority side, I want to thank Vivian Cook for participating, as well as Assemblywoman Patricia Fahey, as well as Assemblywoman Kimberly Jean-Pierre, and Assembly members Nada Sage and Amanda Septimo, who will serve as our alternates on the majority. And as far as the minority, there is Assemblyman Doug Smith, who is our ranker on the Education Committee, and Assemblyman John Minkeling, who's also serving on this committee. Okay. I just want to point out that the Assembly has designated Ben Decker as our recording secretary for these joint conference committees. Shelley?
Thank you, Chair Benedetto. The Senate has designated Georgia Asciuto as our recording secretary. I believe that the New York State Education Department will be participating at our table as well, as they are highly relevant to our decision-making here. I have some very brief opening remarks, and then Assemblyman Chair Benedetto, you may, and then I know if Senator Tedisco has some brief remarks, that will be fine as well. And you may do the same on your side. Let me just very briefly run through what I think are the highlights of the Senate's One House Education budget document. Again, is a historic commitment adopted last year with the full funding of foundation aid over a 3-year period. This is the second year. We appropriated $1.5 billion for foundation aid, providing school districts with 50% of the state's remaining obligation, or a minimum increase of 3% to every district in the state. This is part of a historic agreement that we reached last year, and it has frankly transformed our schools from austerity to a place of beginning to recoup years of not getting what they were owed. The Senate has made a historic additional commitment to $250 million next year for an aggressive 2-year timeline to fully fund full-day 4-year-old pre-K programs across the state, particularly outside New York City, which already has such a program. We look forward to working collectively to ensure that this is implemented and that districts outside New York City have the resources and the opportunity to proceed to offer full-day pre-K to 4-year-olds, something we are committed to. On career and technical education, the Senate One House invests in CTE programs. We are addressing the salary cap at BOCES, and we are also addressing the 9th grade CTE program, which has been a shortfall in the reimbursement for 9th graders who are engaged. On mental health, something that is absolutely critical to all of us who care about this education, particularly as we recover from COVID. We have taken the governor's initial RECUBS program. We have added a year one, another $50 million. We have expanded its applicability to all school districts, and we are in the path to finding it to be a reimbursable expense going forward, as opposed to a grant program with a match as the governor proposed. We fully support expanding community schools. We've added $100 million to expand a successful model of delivering a full array of services within school buildings. And we know from the ones we have seen in the city of New York and elsewhere that this is a model that has particular relevance in this time of challenge for young people as they come back to school. Finally, and this is just a summary, on electric vehicle school buses, we applaud the governor for the concept of moving towards EV school buses. We've built in a slightly longer time frame and provisions for everyone to have a seat at the table as we work on implementing this, so that we address issues that have been raised by superintendents and boards and the folks who actually buy these buses. We have also increased the Environmental Bond Act to specifically provide additional compensation for districts to purchase and readapt. And I would be proud to say that we're also put in money to ensure that the workers who work on the traditional school buses will have the skills and training necessary to move towards EV school buses. Obviously, there's a number of other very important elements of our education budget that I'm happy to drill down in, but for now, I think I will turn it back to Chair Benedetto for some opening remarks.
Shelley, thank you very much, and well explained as you went through that whole list. And I will do the same. Some of the important highlights of the Assembly education budget to enhance support for students and school districts include, as was said before, increasing state-funded school aid by $2.1 billion for a total of $30.9 billion. Okay, increasing foundation aid by $1.5 billion for a total of $21.3 billion. Okay, which is, of course, the second year of the 3-year phase-in. Increasing funding for universal pre-K by $150 million to expand the universal pre-K slots statewide and increase the per pupil rate for districts already providing universal pre-K. Providing increases for the reimbursable salary cap for BOCES career technical education, CTE teachers, and expanding special services aid to provide partial funding for 9th graders that participate in CTE programs. Now providing an additional $100 million for community schools with $800,000 reserved for technical assistance. Increasing non-public school STEM funding by $8 million. increasing funding for schools for the blind and deaf, the 4201 schools by $11.6 million, and providing funding for creation of a new rate-setting methodology for schools that serve children with disabilities. Okay, providing $40 million to support mental health in schools and expand the allowable source of the RECUB's matching funds. Providing $15 million for digital inclusion grants. Expanding the farm to school initiative to allow all meals to count towards reimbursement, and rejecting the executive proposal to transfer the school lunch program to the Department of Agriculture and Markets. Providing $14.3 million for teacher resource and computer training centers. And lastly, providing $5 million in funding for Teacher Opportunity Corps. Okay, that is certainly not all of our proposal, but those are the highlights. I'll send it back to you, Shelley.
Thank you very much. And before I turn it over to Senator Tedisco, I know Senator Liu indicated he has some comments as well. And of course, any of my colleagues are free. I did want to mention, and thank you for reminding me of the important work that the Senate did with respect to special education generally. We made sure that the 11% increase in special ed payments that the governor had proposed will be effectuated by pausing the reconciliation at the state education department, so that we can ensure that the money will flow directly to the schools that need this, including our preschool, our special ed schools, our 4201s, 853s, 4410s, and as Mr. Benedetto mentioned, making sure our schools that serve the deaf and blind. We also support funding for the state education department to develop a new methodology, so we're not stuck in this problem of having a very broken methodology for the schools that serve special need children. There's many other things that both the Senate and Assembly did, and we don't have to dwell on them at this moment. I wanted to ask Senator Tedisco as a ranker if he had some brief remarks, then Senator Liu, who is the chair of the Committee on New York City Schools, which we have in the Senate, and any other member, please raise your hand if you wish to have a few opening remarks. Senator Tedisco.
Thank you, Chairwoman. And thank you for the Chair Michael Benedetto and Ms. Meyer, the chair of the Senate Education Committee, in your leadership. And I think you did a great job of summarizing, difficult to do the entire total budget that was placed in front, but you did a good job of summarizing it. And I want to thank all of the committee members for what I think is going to be a lot of hard work and dedication in making sure we get it right from this conference committee and get out a great budget for the education across this state and our schools in New York State. What I'd like to do is, because I know you summarized it, no sense going over what we see as the funding in there, is just talk a little bit about transparency. And just a cautionary note, we got a tremendous amount of funding from the federal government, which is unbelievably important to us right now during this pandemic. We finally got that foundation aid in the level which it should have been at a long time ago. And we want to sustain it and go through these 3 years and make sure it completes and continues to be full foundation aid according to what the courts have dictated. And I know the chairwoman discussed being in sync with the Assembly and the Senate, and that's great. But I just want to remind everybody, we've been in sync before in the past. And you might remember not too many years back, some of you were not here, but some of you were here, we had a tremendous deficit. And to be honest, before we got this federal money, we were in a difficult situation as a state. And one of the good things, if there's any good thing you could say about a terrible pandemic, which took so many lives, is we got some important funding, which kind of bailed us out in a whole variety of ways. And it's being used in a whole variety of ways, and it should be used in a whole variety of ways. But at that point, when we had the deficit, if you remember, and we were looking for places to cut, I think you all know what the answer was to where we went. We went to where the money was. We went to education. And I think we all agree now that was not the right thing to do at that time. It took us a tremendous amount of time and work and negotiating together to get through that gap and finally close that gap. And now we're at a place where we've closed that gap with our schools and we've got full foundation aid. And I just want to talk about a little bit for a moment about transparency now.
But Senator Tedisco, just to remind you, we have a hard cutoff so the next committee's go, 3 o'clock, just FYI.
Sure. The point I'm trying to make with transparency is that these school districts need to know when this funding is coming forth, because they're discussing that with me. Is it ancillary money for a one-time usage, couple-year usage? Can we tell them to the best of our ability how much of this money is probably going to be ongoing for them to continue to be using for policy and programs? Because when you build in policy and programs, or they use the money for policy and programs, and they're not notified, this money came from the federal government. You can use it maybe for a policy or program that will last for a certain amount of time or a certain level of funding. I think that's important to let them know, because next year, the year after that, unless there's another pandemic or this continues to spin up, we're not going to get that federal money from the federal government. So it's important to be vigilant in understanding and letting them understand what part of this money has a good chance to be ongoing and continue to be funding. And I know we can't be perfect on that. If we were perfect, we wouldn't have done, or the leaders who have done that in the past wouldn't have done what they did to create that huge gap in education. So I think that's the cautionary mention I want to make, and I hope they're notified of exactly the best of our ability, what they can do with that funding and what's ongoing and what's ancillary to one-time usage or just a couple of years maybe. Building in programs that can't be funded are not going to be good for school districts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Tedisco. Thank you for that point. Mr. Benedetto, can I have Senator Liu make a few remarks and then are you
John Liu? Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your kind words, and thank you, Chair Benedetto, for indulging me. I won't take very long because Senator Tedisco already was indulged as well. Good to see you, Jim.
Good to see
and
you.
My colleagues in education in both houses. I think our chairs already detailed the plan in both houses pretty well. I won't repeat all of it, except to say that I'm very happy and proud to see that we are fulfilling our second out of 3 years commitment to fully funding foundation aid for all the schools in our state. Took a long time and a lot of struggle to get to that point, but we are following through on it. Also great to see the continued expansion of pre-kindergarten all throughout the state of New York. We need this early childhood education. And I'm particularly proud of the renewed emphasis we have for students with disabilities, making sure that those schools and programs are better funded than they have been in the past. So with that, the only last thing I will say in response to Senator Tedisco's comments is that I certainly take his words to mind, but I am also confident that we were careful in not building in any kind of fiscal cliff once the federal funding ends for education. And with that, Madam Chair, thank you so much for indulging me.
Thank you. Mr. Benedetto?
Yes, and thank you, Senator, and thank you, Senators Tedisco and Liu, for your words. And it's only right that at this time, I call upon my ranker to say a few words if he so desires. Mr. Smith.
Thank you so much, chairs, and thank you for holding this today. Assemblyman Mikulin and I get to bat cleanup, so it's a good thing we don't have to say everything we'd like to say because a lot's been stated already. But on behalf of the Republican, the minority in the Assembly, we appreciate these continued talks and the fact that this is opening up transparency to the public. So a few items. It's a good year for education in New York, as was last year. I think as most of us are educators and people who certainly care about public education, it's definitely a good year. So I'm just going to hit on a few things really quick. Our conference is calling on the following things to be prioritized, which have been prioritized. Continuing the plan to phase in foundation aid into not this coming school year, but the following school year, to get that phased in completely. That's something that's going forward. With respect to special education, implementing a 5-year rate setting plan for Special Act 853 and 4410 schools, where the annual growth in funding is tied to the annual percentage of school aid provided to public schools with no reconciliation within those years. Creating a task force to redesign the reimbursement methodology for these schools, something I think we've all been brought to our attention. Providing an enhanced cost of living adjustment for the 4201 schools, since they're not included in the annual rate setting process. I think that was welcome for teachers that work in these schools. Very welcome news for that. I hope we can continue that. And BOCES salaries, increasing the aidable salaries of BOCES program staff above the current cap of 30,000 to ensure that career and technical education programs can continue to offer the robust programs and create that vital pipeline of education to the career and growth. I think that's some very happy things that we're very happy to see. And if I could just very quickly turn it over to John Mickulin to close for the Assembly minority.
Mr. Mickulin.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the ability to come here and speak today. So in the minority conference, we do have a few concerns over the governor's proposals. The first one being the electric buses. The governor and the majority's proposals to mandate a fully electric bus fleet by 2035. Our conference is concerned about the ability of school districts to comply with substantial upfront costs associated with converting our school bus fleets. And the second thing that we are concerned about is library aid. And that's one that's near and dear to me, actually being a former president of a library board within my community, that the governor's proposal does cut the library construction aid by $20 million. And as we know, libraries were transformed into community hubs during the pandemic. And we should be aiming to expand our investments into this critical infrastructure to increase their capacity. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to working on behalf of the people of the state of New York.
Mr. Mickulin, thank you very much for your comments. And hopefully to close, we have Ms. Jean-Pierre who wants to say a few words.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to say thank you for your hard work and publicly thank the staff for all of their hard work. And to really point out that this is a good proposal, and hopefully the final budget will exemplify what we've put in our One House. But I want to point out the great work and the great numbers that we put towards mental health, digital inclusion, and I'm looking forward to the end where we can continue to support our families and our children, particularly the UPK money. Thank you.
All points well taken. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm going to turn it back to you, Madam Chair, and to close down this session.
Well, thank you. And thank you to all of our colleagues for really very thoughtful, insightful. I think, it is a new year in Albany where we're sort of rowing in the same direction, shall we say. And that's welcome news. We do have differences between our two House budgets. We also have differences, obviously, with the governor. We have the input of the minorities in this process, and we do have a transparent process where the members and the staff of our respective conferences and houses will be working jointly to find common ground with the goal of an on-time budget that reflects the best values and the state's commitment to education. So I think that's something all of the members here share, a very profound commitment to our kids and to our system of education. I just have to say, given this moment in world history, that the opportunity to have this highly valued free public education that the state constitution provides is a hallmark of our democracy. And I know everyone here is very committed to preserving and strengthening that in all its respects. So thank you to all my colleagues. And Mr. Benedetto, I don't know if you have some closing remarks, and then for the public, there will be notice of the next meeting of this subcommittee on education, which, as pointed out, does include some things that are traditionally not always thought of as education by the outside world, but are in the education budget in the state. So we look forward to seeing you again. We thank you for all your input. We thank the staff for their work. And if there's nothing further, I know that the Higher Ed Committee, which has some of our members, starts its conference in 2 minutes. So I will close there.
Okay, and this will conclude the first meeting of the Education Conference Committee. We will meet again upon the call of the General Conference Committee. Everybody, a good day.